Do you know who some of the most criticized quarterbacks in the entirety of the NFL were? Number one in my life is Peyton Manning. Nobody has been ripped to the high heavens more than Peyton Manning has. Second most ripped for not being able to win the big game in my life, John Elway. John Elway, now people remember him as going out on top by winning 2 different Super Bowls with the Denver Broncos. But prior to winning those 2 Super Bowls, everybody can tell you Elway's Broncos getting to the Super Bowl and losing, Elway was ripped to the high heavens for not being able to win the proverbial big game. Third most criticized, and he never won a Super Bowl, Dan Marino. People ripped Dan Marino for not being able to win a Super Bowl. Now, there's nothing to do with race. All 3 of those guys happen to be white. The standard of highly paid, highly praised quarterbacks in the NFL is you win a Super Bowl. And if you don't, you get ripped to shreds. They've allowed left-wing woke media in the NFL have allowed to get seeded this idea of, oh, black quarterbacks are held to a different standard than white quarterbacks. That was true in like the 1960s and in the 1970s, maybe a little bit in the 1980s. It hasn't been true in the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and it's certainly not true in the 2020s. Everybody's held to the same standard. This is really important, and I want you guys to think about it. Super talented people in sports have always been highly criticized because they're on a pedestal because of their excellence, and we expect that they should be the best because that's how American sports are defined. Are you or are you not the best, even if it's sometimes unfair in a team context? No one is being treated unfairly. If Justin Herbert is being treated better than Lamar Jackson, it's because nobody thinks Justin Herbert is the best quarterback in the NFL. Nobody is arguing that Justin Herbert, to my knowledge, is the NFL MVP. Lamar Jackson is not being treated unfairly based on his race. Dak Prescott is not being treated unfairly based on his race, RG3. They're being treated the exact same as Peyton Manning was, the exact same as John Elway was, the exact same as Dan Marino was, and the same way that we treated everybody in the NBA until they won a championship.